is that somewhere inside me, right, in my faith in God, somewhere inside me, that I knew I was better than I was meant for more. Somebody said something the other day that really, I've never heard this before until the other day. Everybody may know this, but somebody said, I don't want to show up to heaven and be well rested.
The Art of Rising, where clarity replaces noise, discipline becomes lifestyle, and growth is intentional. Let's rise together. Greetings and welcome to the Art of Rising, where we are exploring leadership, transformation, and conscious visionaries changing the planet. I'm here, as always, with a powerful brother. He has some of the codes that we're looking for. He's writing books. He's doing Iron Man stuff and pushing his body to the limit and his spirituality and all this stuff. So let's just welcome him and see what he's got for us. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Omar. I could not be more happy to be here on this beautiful day. And again, appreciate your smile every time we see it. And I'm excited about this conversation today. So thank you.
Appreciate you. So listen, let's just jump right into it, Scott. Tell us, where you from, and how did you come to be where you are at the moment and all that good stuff?
Yeah, what a complex question, right? That's for all of us. How did you get to where you're sitting right now? And in terms of where I'm from, I was actually born in the northeast corner of Arkansas in a town called Jonesboro, Arkansas. But I've lived around the world, Texas, Germany, spent some time in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait. Of course, here in Georgia, lived in Tennessee. So I've lived a lot of different places, traveled a lot of places all over the world. And that traveling, along with life events, right, are the cumulative story of how I got here today. And for me, again, I won't speak for everybody else, but for me, my story has been symbolic of the title of my book. The title of my book is Wake Up to Die Again. And that has been at the highest level symbolic of my life. There have been so many things in my life where I thought when I woke up that morning, I was going to be waking up to live again. Only that was not what life had in store for me. What life in store for me was, no, you're going to wake up and you're going to die a little bit more today. And that sounds paradoxical, and it to some degree is, but the way I got here today is there was a large part of my life early on where I woke up to die a little bit more every day. And I know the audience knows what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. There are times in our life, there are seasons in our life where when we wake up every day for seasons, we give a little bit of ourselves away and we don't know how to get it back. And some of us wake up empty, right? And we live that way for a long time. But conversely, on the other side of that, in a new season in life, when you've learned some of those lessons, if you carry them forward and you've made the decision to get up out of whatever it is that's going on, you get to live again. And waking up to die again becomes a beautiful thing because you're discarding the things that no longer serve you. And it's discarding those things that give you the freedom and the weightlessness, if you will, to move forward and to achieve those new heights, to go do an Ironman, like you mentioned before. So the way Scott Lackey got here today to talk to you is through a lot of ups and downs in life that I was fortunate enough to choose, I believe choose wisely, to address all of those challenges in my life, the peaks and the valleys, to make me in the person I am today and write the book that I wrote that has already become, a #1 new release and a #2 bestseller so far. And, it wasn't possible. That book was not possible if it wasn't for all of those moments in my life.
Beautiful, which brings us to that first question that I was thinking about, and we spoke a bit offline about that. For me, I've been thinking lately about all of the things that I've been through, all the pain and the suffering and the trauma and the drama and all that. And I was thinking, like, what if, when I felt I was lost, perhaps that was my initiation to get me to where I am right now. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but what do you think about that?
Well, I think the answer, again, is another paradox that we live in is, your question is what if being lost basically isn't a mistake, right? Well, there's two answers to that, and that's why it's a paradox. Being lost is not a mistake as long as you don't stay there. Okay. If you stay there, that has another entire host of issues that are going to bring great discomfort to your life. So that's the two answers, right? If you stay lost, you're going to have some serious problems you're going to have to deal with psychologically, emotionally, relationally. But being lost is not a mistake as long as you turn to that mistake, reconcile that mistake, and use that as something to move you forward. Those are the two ways that I look at that. But most people, this is like I said, the crazy thing about being lost is that you get to a point that by the time you realize it, you can't retrace your steps to where you are. There's no retracing. And I say this a lot when I speak to people, is that most of the time, I believe we don't realize we're lost until we get to this place called what I like to refer to as the fiery middle. It's when you're in a place where you're too far away from where you came from to turn around and go back. And you're too far away from where you want to be that you still don't know the way there. You're in the fiery middle. And you know, we could use that same definition about being lost and being a mistake. If you stay in that place, that is a miserable place to wake up and die again all over again. You lose a part of yourself every day. But if you start moving forward, right, as I like to say in my book, if you walk the way will appear. You don't have to know exactly which way to go, but if you walk the way will appear. And so that's why I don't think, you know, just the idea of being lost is a mistake. Being lost can be a wonderful gift, but you're going to have to do something about it.
It's that gift that you have to unwrap, right? Or else it's just a box in the corner with nice bow on it.
That's correct. Well, and keep this in mind too, right? It's normal. And I was a part of this. I'm not preaching to anybody that I didn't do this. Everything I'm talking about, I lived it expertly. Okay. Which is, yes, you have to do it. But what do? So many of us look at the world around us and they say, well, when this happens, I'll do X. When this passes, I'll do Y. When I have this in my possession, I'll feel this way. No, that's all zeros. That's all zeros. You need to get to a place, I needed to get to a place where I didn't have to travel a distance or gain a possession to feel love, to be peaceful, to have joy, right? You know, I love the word joy because joy is not something you obtain. It is a condition, right? Joy is a condition of the heart. You don't go get joy. You don't go get happiness. As a matter of fact, the more you chase joy and happiness, the heart, you're not going to find it.
Right.
Joy and happiness exist in the one place most people refuse to go look. Not to get off track, Omar, but you know, that was a great question.
Yeah, you know, it's wonderful because even before we came online, I was thinking about you and I read your bio and all of that. And I was like, wow, man, it's surrender. We just have a hard time surrender. We like, I got it figured out. I got it. I'm doing it. Man, just let that
go.
That's where happiness is. That's where joy is. That's where my life is. I'm the star of my own movie, man. I'm the director, I'm the editor, and I'm even the sound guy. Like there's a soundtrack playing in the background. It's so beautiful, man. I'm telling you.
That's right.
But it was only when I let it go. Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, that is a wonderful gift that we give ourselves, is to let things go. And you know, to your audience, to the audience we're talking to, some of the things that they're wrestling with right now that are still painful, there's a pre-step that they may need to engage in before they can let it go. And that pre-step is forgiving themselves. That's really important.
Yeah, that was big for me too, man. You said something interesting earlier and that hit me too, because I remember, Scott, that there was a time when I looked into the mirror and I was like, I don't even know who you are.
Yes, sir.
That's that point right there, the middle. I was in the fire right there. It was burning. It was white hot. But it was only when I just like started little by little and searching and Some
Yeah.
people ask me like, what's the difference between you and some other family members that, they were raised in the same household and all that?
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I wanted it bad enough.
Yeah.
Like breath.
When yeah, like air, the air we breathe. It's beautiful what you said, Omar, because you said the word that's critical, which is searching, right? So now let's ask the next question. Where was Omar searching? Where was Scott searching? Were you out in the world, right? Were you looking for others to tell you the solution? Were you looking for others to affirm who you are as a human being? Did you need a possession, right? Did you need to go buy something so that you could say, oh, I've made it now? Because if that's where you're searching, let me tell you where that's going to lead you, because been to all those places. You're going to get there and you're going to find out it's not all that. You're going to get to another place because the world's going to tell you, just go a little bit further, man. It's just around the corner, just over the hill.
Yeah.
And you're going to get there too. And you're going to be by yourself and you're going to be really lonely. So the searching that you're talking about is the one that I know about, is that's stopping all of that worldly crap. And it's looking at yourself and this is the question I ask myself, Omar. Hey, Scott, what is it inside you that is unfulfilled that you think you have to go somewhere to find it? What is that? And I began wrestling with that. And I was going, you know what? That's a good point. Why do I need a car or a truck to make me feel good? What is it? It ain't the truck or the car, And man, when you go searching for that, audience, that'll lead you to a beautiful place. I'll tell you what, you better be prepared for the question and be prepared for the answers. If you're willing to say the truth, tell the truth to yourself.
Brother Scott, you're talking to me so deep, man. Right. So one of my rituals and my routines is I go running every morning. I try to do
I love to run.
I do like 7 days a week, man. I'm doing about 6.5, 7 miles. And then I go longer, like 13, 15, 16 occasionally. That's right. When I get the more time, and it takes me time, like you run, you walk, but I was running this morning and I was thinking like, wow, what is it that we're searching for? This thing that we're holding on to that's going to make me happy. Actually, it's not going to make me happy, because there's people who have far less than I have. Man, I've got 2 cars, a house, and my kids go to a private school, and there's people who have barely that and are more happier. It's crazy.
Man, I want to tell you this. I've never said this on a podcast before. My first mission trip that I ever went on was to Nicaragua. And the first group of people we met lived in, I'm going to call them homes. It was their home that was no bigger than the size of my closet of my house right now, with a tin roof, 4 walls, a door barely hanging on the front, and dirt freaking floors, man. The kids were having a blast. The wife was singing as she was cooking. And I'm telling you, man, I didn't say anything, but I walked around that neighborhood, if you will, and I looked at everybody smiling and thankful to see us. And I looked, and I'm telling you, it convicted me, right? Their behavior in Nicaragua convicted me of my poor behavior, of all the gifts that I've been given here in the United States.
Powerful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, man. You have served the country, and I'm curious, why is it that you started that? Why did you get into it? Mostly people go, oh, well, I need the money, or I need the college, or they go like, there was nothing to do in my neighborhood, or or my mom threw me out, or I was hooked on drugs, or I don't know. Maybe it was a combination of that, but perhaps you can share.
Yeah, I love it. Everybody does have their own story in the military, and we learn that from each other. Why are you here? We all want to know that answer in the Army, right? Or the armed forces. Why are you here? And I had drama in my life that created the opportunity for me to go in the military. But when you look back on it, this wasn't drama. This was just personal drama. And the short answer of why I chose the military was just before, maybe, I don't know, I forgot what it was, 6, 7 months or so before my time to graduate from high school. 3 events happened in a 2-week span that kind of shook me to my core at a young age. And it shook me to my core. These are kind of stupid, innocent questions, but where I was in my life, it shook me to my core, right? The first one was I had a very strong dislike for a particular teacher, and she disliked me equally as much. And we never missed a chance to try to make each other feel bad. And one day I was trying to get out of class for the day and go visit the local college, to go have fun. And I'm standing in line to get on the bus. And when I reached her, she told me very publicly and loud enough that all of my classmates heard this, that I'm not getting on the bus because I'm not college material and I needed to go back inside. And that is a big hit. That is a big hit to someone from a teacher, right? So I turned around and I could feel everyone staring at my back as I was walking back in, humiliated. And at that same period of time, I was a really good basketball player in high school, capable of going to play basketball in college. And my coach asked me around that same time, if you're going to want to go play basketball in college, I'm going to need to know if you're committed, because I need to start making some phone calls to other coaches. And that sounds like a wonderful thing, but it scared the hell out of me, because what the teacher said to me, while it was extraordinarily inappropriate what she said, she was also telling the truth. I wasn't ready for college. Delivery, 0. Truth, 10. Okay. Coach, wonderful. He thought about me that way. Scott scared the hell out of me because I never thought about genuinely going to college. So that was wrestling in my brain. And then I'll fast forward. All this was going on, and my dad set me down one Saturday with my mom, and he said, listen, we've been giving a lot of thought to this, Scott, and we need to share with you the 3 things, the 3 options that you have when you graduate from high school. We just wanted to give you 3 to pick from. They're not in any order. You pick any 3. We're going to be happy. Here's what they are. You can go to college, or go to college. Wow.
Choice is yours.
That was the panic that pushed me over the edge. It's like I had 3 people, anyway, or my wife, my mom and my dad were the ones, telling me that, but those 4 people, and that put me in a tailspin. So all that being said, my dad gave me 2 weeks to make a decision on what college I was going to go to. Right. So all that was swirling around my head. And Omar, one Friday night, Saturday night, I'm laying in my bed with my little small TV in the bedroom. And I think you're old enough to remember this commercial. It came on and it said, join the United States Army and be all you can be.
Right.
We do more before 8 a.m. than most people do all day. And Omar, I sat up out of that bed with matter of fact, right now, it gives me the hair on the back of my neck standing up, because it was like God himself. That's how I felt, is that God himself made that commercial at that moment in time, exactly when I needed to see it. Because Omar, I didn't know nothing about the military, 0, but I knew in my soul I was supposed to go in the military. And 2 days later, I sat down across from my mom and dad, and he said, all right, son, which college are you going to? I said, Dad, I'm not going to college. I'm going in the Army. And there was silence. And then my mom started tearing up, and my dad finally broke the silence. And he said, son, I think this is going to be good for you. And that was a what I call a lightning strike in my book. That was a lightning strike in my life, where once that was spoken into this world, when I spoke the words into this world, my life forever changed direction. From the direction wherever I was going, my life forever changed and moved a different direction. And that was a prophetic impact of my life. That single decision was a undescribable pivot in my life that led me to where I am today. Wow. That whole story, but I wanted to put that in context.
Appreciate that. That's so powerful. And, I don't always agree with some of those things when it comes to the service, and just like everybody, like there's always there's no perfect nothing. Right? Like, I mean, it's perfect. It is perfect, but you're always going to find fault, personally in some of these things, but there's so much good that comes out of these things. I mean, as you know, I have family members that have served too, and
Yeah. No,
it's
listen, it's
beautiful.
like in anything in life where there are human beings involved,
Hmm.
anything,
Hmm.
ministry, military,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
find bad apples, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. But that's beautiful, man. So perhaps you could tell us, was there a point where something showed up and it profoundly changed you into like something else that you looked at it and went, what am I becoming? Like, what is this?
Yeah, that's I love this question, and I love it for this reason. Chapter 1 in my book, title, You're Not Where You're Supposed to Be.
Mm.
That's chapter 1. And it goes on to say that it's not until we're lost that we can finally start to learn who we are. That's how we started out this conversation. So I'm going to take you to an event I've talked about recently, and I'll tell the story quickly. But the short of it is that many years after the military, a product that my second invention, I should say, actually was patented. That's why I'm a patented inventor, because of my second invention and actually getting a patent. Family was involved in the business. My wife was intimately involved in the business because she's one of those people that cares for everything, turtles, animals, kids, that's part of her heart. But my invention, the business plan, Omar, was funded by a private equity investment firm for $3 million. Okay. And this is one of the reasons why I took probably, it feels like 100 plus trips to New York, where I met these investors. But anyway, the business plan was funded for $3 million. And about 6 months later, they decided that they were going to take possession of the company, and they fired me and the management team. And I lost my patent, I lost the company, lost everything. Okay. When events, there are listeners, there have to be listeners right now, different set of facts, but something has happened in their life, right? Where that lightning strike hits. And you look at yourself in the mirror, like you said at the very beginning, you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I don't know who the hell you are anymore. I know I'm physically in this body, but I don't know who you are. And I darn sure don't know how we got here. And when you start down that path, all the other questions are going to come with it. What did you do? You're going to start the accusations. And some people go down the accusation road of, it was the world, it was the this, it was the that. Yeah, you can do that for a while. But the mind eventually catches up with you, and it starts looking inward. And then that voice that we all have shows up and begins the condemnation process. And you can't get away from that voice. And so, to go back to your question, yeah, there's been multiple moments in my life where I didn't even have to look in the mirror. It was wherever I was physically at, inside my head, asking myself, dude, who are you?
Mm.
And what did you do to get here?
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Now, so I've had to answer that question more than once. And by the way, the answer was never the same answer.
Yeah, some people ask me, well, how did you get here? And me, it's not like, oh yeah, on September the 9th and 19th. It's like it's a series of things. Like things come up, and then you're just in these moments like, I got here, I'm still on this journey, and like something is happening here. I don't know what it is, but I'm not gonna ignore it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you described it that way, because it's not about, I woke up on September the 14th, Omar, and
Right,
boom,
right, right. Exactly.
no, no. But I'll tell you what I learned from realizing it's not September the 14th, right? As an example, is, and I write about this in the book, but it was when I made the decision that I am no longer interested as a human being of measuring myself off of the distance I've traveled. Okay. I don't do that anymore. I 100% measure myself off of direction now. Scott, are you moving the right directions? Right? Is it good to see that I've covered distance? Right? Where I see some days with incremental improvement. Maybe some days I feel like I've regressed a little bit. I've gone back 2 steps. And some days I went ahead 4 steps. And one day I feel like I'm veering off the path 3 degrees to the left, and then I can manage to get back on them. Yeah, I like to see those incremental things, but they're not my measurement anymore. My measurement is 100% on direction. That's a big difference between people in my circle. They're always talking about, I did this and I achieved that and I achieved that. My man, good for you. I just don't feel that way anymore.
Right.
I measure off of direction. And I'll tell you, life gets a lot easier when you measure off direction. So if you're in that place right now of you don't know who you are anymore, and back to my book, you're waking up every day just to die a little bit more. You don't know how you got there. Well, one of the tools that you can use with yourself is stop measuring yourself off the distance or how far you're behind. Because that's another thing, people, I'm so far behind, I'll never catch up. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Don't measure yourself off distance.
I've accomplished so much, and just recently too, I was like, man, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, like where I thought I'd be. But I was like, well, wait a minute now. Look how far you've come, bro.
100%.
Come on, like man, yeah, I'm owning that. That's right. So let me ask you this, Scott. I know that the military helped you with some discipline, because military does that, right? They make you get up and they make you go to sleep. They make you eat. It's like that. But there's plenty of people who go to the service and then they come out and they're worse. They're really sitting around smoking whatever. So you've decided personally, like, hey, I'm doing this, and so my question really is, I see you have some physical achievements, right? Like the Iron Man and stuff like that. For instance, I'm sure there's others, but what is it that made you do that? What's pushing you into that? What opened you up to say, you know what, this is my lifestyle now?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of things. I left the military. I talk about this. I left the military with 3 words. Okay. And those 3 words were make it happen. And I had just extraordinary leadership in the military, extraordinary leadership. And that was a gift that they gave me. Scott, make it happen. And they empowered me to make it happen. And I was promoted faster. All these wonderful things happened while I was in the military. But I can tell you that that mentality applied the wrong way will take you places really fast you're not supposed to be. Applied correctly, it may take you to places that you maybe otherwise couldn't have gotten there because you were resilient, right? And that, that those lessons, if you will, move forward in life where other tragic or lightning strikes happened in my life, and I learned the difference between stewardship and ownership. That changed me as a human being. Understanding that you are a steward, not an owner in everything. You are a steward of relationships, a steward of your health, right? When you understand the difference between stewardship and attempted ownership, that'll change the course of your life. There's a cumulative effect to that. If you decide one day you want to go out and do an Ironman, it's a 140.6 mile race. Most consider it to be the hardest race that one can accomplish of endurance racing. And you don't just train for that for 3 months and show up and do the race. I trained for that for 11 months, and it changed me as a human being, literally changed me as a human being. Because I tell people I didn't actually become an Ironman other than, yes, I know I crossed the finish line. I got the medal, I got the t-shirt. And that's when they said, Scott Lackey, United States Army veteran, when I crossed the finish line, you are an Ironman. But I actually became an Ironman the 11 months before that. All of those little micro decisions to get up in the morning when that voice told me, hey, man, you don't have to get up. Don't worry about it, dude. You trained really hard. Just relax today. And I got up and said, you're going to need to shut up because I'm going to go do it. Right? that battle, overcoming that battle over and over again. Or when I wrecked my bike during training and had to get stitches, I could have easily said, I need to take a break and let it heal. No, I put some freaking bandages on and I got on that bike and I kept riding, and I hated every minute of it. I didn't love it. I hated every minute of it. Every single minute I hated it. I was pissed off at myself for wrecking my bike. Right? So that's when you look at that cumulative effect. I'm just skipping a rock across the surface here. When you look at those cumulative events, we can let those events, we can let the weight of them crush our spirit so that we don't want to get up anymore. We just don't. Or you can make a choice that I'm not going to allow all of these events to define who I am. And so we come to your question, which is, why did you do all that? What got you up? Why? Right? And it was two main things. I mean, at the very core, it was two main things. Is that somewhere inside me, right, in my faith in God, somewhere inside me, that I knew I was better than I was meant for more. Somebody said something the other day that really, I've never heard this before until the other day. Everybody may know this. But somebody said, I don't want to show up to heaven and be well rested.
Oh,
Man,
my God.
dude.
Yeah. I heard this quote too from a book the other day. I can't remember who said it, but they said that when success comes around and find you, let it find you hard at work.
Amen, brother. Man. And I have another saying that's the opposite of that. If you refuse to pay attention, attention is going to pay you a visit.
Yes.
Okay.
Paying attention.
So the other thing I'll tell you to answer your question is that, I've always loved my wife, always, right? Since the moment I saw her. And I love my kids, and I'm thankful to be around them. But as life has transpired and I've become this person who's challenged himself and done all these things, I didn't understand the difference between the word love and sacrificial love. Two different things, and one is much deeper than the other, right? They say love bears all things. What does that mean to use the word bear? There's a weight, right? And love asks you to carry something. To truly love, to have sacrificial love, it asks you to carry something, right? And so one of the things that has gotten me up in life over and over and over again is not what most people think. It wasn't the love of myself. It wasn't because I had this knowledge of, Scott, you can do it. No. One of the things that got me up over and over again when life struck was that I looked at my wife and my son and daughter, and I said, I may not be able to do this for myself, but by gosh, I'll do it for you, whatever it is. That's sacrificial love. So I write about this in my book. There's not too many things I would sacrifice my life for, right? But when I signed up for the United States Army, when I signed on that dotted line, that's what I said. Whether it was in writing or not, I signed up to give my life for the country and the ideals the country represents. That's what I signed up for. And in its extreme example, right? But when I asked her to marry me, and I don't know about for you, but when I asked her to marry me and she said yes, I didn't realize until a long time later what she was saying yes to. I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. I was broke. My God, what a commitment that she made to me to say yes to me when I said, will you marry me? What did I owe her for that? I owe her everything for that. 'Cause I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything but promises. And she believed in that. What a powerful statement to come to that realization about your spouse, male or female. Okay. So when I look at my wife, my son, and my daughter, I'm willing to endure sacrificially whatever I need to endure because that inspires me. They inspire me more than myself. They inspire me. And so that was a long journey to get to that point. But I really wanted to draw a giant circle around that question. And so thanks for letting me do that.
Of course, it's the why, and sometimes I'm looking for that too, but we do men's retreats here too. I take men away into the country, unplug them from the matrix. Like taking the
Yeah,
phone
man.
away is like the most hardest thing to do. Believe it or not, they make that phone like heroin. It's
Oh,
horrible. But we do stand on a few pillars, and one of them is there's a higher power outside of you. You should recognize that. I
mhm.
don't care how you recognize it, what name you want to put or a box. There's something outside of you. Then you should also know yourself. You have to try to find out who you are, together. And
Yeah,
then your relationships. How are your relationships? With your wife, with your kids, with your job, with your money, with your physical, you got to get these things right.
yeah. If you get those three things right,
Mm,
right? The relationship with your creator,
mhm,
your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with your family.
mhm,
If you
mhm.
get those three things, like, you have one life, my friend.
Yeah. You see, and then the one that comes after that, Scott, is what's your purpose?
Yeah.
You see, that's number 4. What's your purpose?
Yep.
Why?
But
Why
it's easier to find that answer when you reconcile those first three. Most
exactly,
people, most
exactly.
people are chasing number 4, and they don't want
Mhm.
to talk about
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Right. Right.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's that purpose that I'm here for, right? So some of the things that I do, including the podcast and other things, and we help people. We're transforming lives. That's what we're
Yep.
doing, Scott. That's it. There's no doubt about it. Like maybe no, like there's enough proof here. Okay, but once you know that purpose, it drives you, man, right? Some
Yeah.
people go, "Oh, it's your passion. You're passionate about it. Follow your passion." I'm like, "No, I have passions, and I am passionate about this too, but this is different.
It is different.
Something is pushing me.
Yep.
It's telling me. I hear
You
it."
Yeah, it's pushing, but it's also calling you,
Mm.
right? The voice in the wilderness, man. You hear it
Mhm.
and you pursue it,
Mhm. It's
right? That's a
beautiful.
beautiful voice to pursue. I like what you're describing too, because I feel, I'm going to say, reconciled with those three things we talked about: self,
Mhm.
faith, family. Because I'm reconciled with those things, for me, it has given me a wellspring of desire to do exactly what you and I are talking about, to pour into other people who need help, right? And I know you've heard this story before, about, gosh, I can't remember the source of this story, but a guy falls to a hole, right? And first person walks by and he asks for help. No, I'm busy. I got to go do this. And second person, I'm busy, can't do this. And third person jumps down the hole, and the guy's like, "Have you lost your mind? Now we're both stuck down here." And he's like, "No, you don't understand. I came down here because I know the way out."
Mm.
Right?
That's beautiful.
That's Omar. Right?
Mhm.
We hope that's Scott. Right? Is that
Mhm.
we've learned these lessons. Now let it be our testimony to other people of, hey, if you need help, I don't mind coming down there. I'll come down on the hole with you, but by gosh, you better pick up that shovel. I'm not dragging you out of here. We're walking out. You know?
Mm. For us, Scott, we used to say that we are like ushers at the movie theater, just trying to help you get to your seat without knocking somebody's popcorn over.
Yeah, I like that
Why?
example.
Because it's your movie. It's
Yeah,
yours. People come to me, "Oh my God, you saved my life."
yeah.
No, brother, it was you. Like
You.
you
Yep.
put in the work, man. Okay, yes, all right, I'm here. Yeah, that's true. But if
Yeah.
it's not for you, man, you can't. You
Yep.
can't make no one, right? That's why many scriptures speak about free will. Like when people
Oh,
say, "Oh, I will go, I will stay," it's the will part. Whatever you say after that, that's you're speaking it out
yeah.
and you're creating your everything.
Yeah. This is an important topic too for the listeners, right? What are we? I'm gonna just shift 1 degree over because it supports what you're saying about I will fill in the blank. Somebody right now listening to this is gonna is thinking something along the lines of, yeah, I filled in the blank 100 times and it just never works out for me. Okay, I agree with you. And now let me give you a potential reason why you have filled in that blank and it hasn't worked out for you, sunshine. It's because you keep breaking your promises to yourself. That's why. And you've broken so many promises to yourself, you no longer trust yourself anymore.
Mm.
And so when you fill in the blank, it's a lie starting out because you're just going to break the promise. It's this vicious cycle.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
going to stop doing this break the promise, failure. I knew I was going to get here anyway. I'm going to do it again, break the promise. It's this vicious cycle. So at some point, when you fill in that blank, you're going to have to be serious, and you're going to have to make the decision that you're going to stop breaking promises to yourself. And so may I share what I did with myself, which is I had to go back and retrain myself on how to stop breaking promises to myself. And it wasn't sexy. It wasn't this big grand idea, go run an Ironman. No. It was I literally started making promises to myself about stupid little things to prove to myself all over again that I could trust myself. And I say little things like, okay, this week, I'm not going to the gym this week, but I'm going to start getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know what in the crap I'm going to do after 5 o'clock, but I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock every day for 7 days. Right? And I'm going to prove to myself I can do that for 7 days. I'm talking basic stuff. If you can do it in the basic stuff, you will begin to look at yourself in the mirror privately and say, hey, look what I did. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And so that's supports exactly what you were saying, is that, so many people don't trust themselves right now, and that's okay. Now you know where you are. Now accept why you got there, because you broke all those promises. Forget the world, forget everybody else. Look at yourself in the mirror, look at your broken promises, but go back to the lily pads, the basics, and retrain yourself. That's a wonderful direction to go if you're willing to accept that challenge.
One of the things that we push here at Omziel with the Omziel Healing Sanctuary is tracking. That's what we're big on, especially when I'm working with the men. I'm like, look, you need to get a calendar, right? Not the one in the phone, because out of sight, out of mind. I tell them, get a desk calendar and then take off a month and put it on the wall. Not inside the closet, no, outside, so you can see it. And then we encourage the different color markers, because psychologists know that when you just write everything in black, it just disappears. But when you highlighting in yellow and red and blues, like I ran for 5 minutes, or I meditated for 2 minutes, or I took a shower when I didn't want to, and man, it gives you those stack of undeniable wins. Something
That's
to
correct.
Look back and you'd be like, hey, hold on now. I'm kicking butt here. Like I'm doing good.
No, 1,000%. And you can't see it over my shoulder, but I have on my wall a 12-month calendar with all the rainbows of colors up there of travel and what I did this and what I did that. And yeah.
I got mine right here too, the year calendar.
I have the 2025 calendar rolled up in the corner around my desk, and I can't throw it away.
I know. I've got mine right. Yeah. It's crazy. I know.
I can't throw it away, because I look at that and go, my God, look what I did in 2025. 2026 is going to be great.
I'm talking into the mirror right here, because I track my running, because that's important to me, because I'm passionate and I want to do more. I know I'm capable of more. I expect a lot from my body, but how? I have to train it. I have to get up. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm out the door by 4:30. Like, bro, nobody's out there. I'm out there with the deers. I'm with my headlamp, and then, bro, freezing cold. I live in New York. Come on, I'm running in January. It's like 10 below, freezing.
I love it.
I'm on it, Scott. I'm on it, bro.
I love it. So tell me, I'm dying to know this. I have the answer for me, but I would love to learn from you. In the morning, it's in the morning when the voice wants to attack me. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock. That's when the voice wants to wake me up, right? So when you have that on those mornings, when you wake up and it's cold and you're already at mile, 32 in the week, right? And your knees are hurting, right? When the voice says, Omar, you got a lot going on today, man. Just sleep in. How do you reconcile that? How does Omar do that? What can you teach me today?
Wow, that's beautiful. And I'll tell you why, because that's usually when the voice comes. Sometimes it comes early, just when I'm getting up. And a quick story, I did like 8 or 9 days straight. And then I got up at 4, the alarm went on, and I went, the voice, take it easy. You've been running hard. Okay. I went, yeah. Yeah, you're right. So I laid down and I slipped into a dream. And the dream was I was in a room and some guys came in. They were cowboys and everything with the gunslingers. And they came to me and they said, come on, we got to go get them. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We got to go get them. I sat up, put my shorts on, got my sneakers on, and
Wow, dude.
it's the
That's
body,
that,
it's the
yeah,
training. Yeah.
that's the Holy Spirit using the cowboys to help you out.
Yep, exactly. I love it. So usually that voice now it comes just like that in the
Yeah,
middle of the run. I'm tired. I'm cold. I mean, I've got gloves, scarf, a thermal. It's
yeah.
freezing, and then it starts messing with me. Oh, remember what you did? Remember those back in those years ago? Oh yeah, you're not worthy. You're not worthy. You know what are you doing?
Okay.
What are you doing this for? Come on, and then part of my brain was like, yeah, you're right. I
Yeah,
did do that thing and all that, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. Then the other voice comes in. Yeah, but you've been kicking tail, bro. And look what you're doing.
yeah.
You're out here. You're doing it. And I'm
Yep.
like, that's right. I'm here. And Scott, I kid you not, I'm screaming out there at 5 in the morning, out into the sky. I'm here.
Yep.
I'm doing it. What do
Yep.
you want from me?
Yep.
Like
No, I love that story. I can't tell you the whole story. This is in the book in detail, but there was a day in my life
Mhm.
where I was laying flat on my face on the carpet, trying to pray, didn't know what to do. And it's interesting how I believe God will use voices like you're talking about to get your attention. And my mom had passed away, so she wasn't alive. And I'm laying there on my face, and I don't know what to do. And that was the voice I heard in my head was my mom saying, she said my name. She said, Scott, I'm going to need you to get up. And I heard that in my head, you know. I said, I'm going to get up. And she said, Scott, no, I'm going to need you to get up right now. I said, okay, mom, I'm going to get up. Right. It was a beautiful, powerful moment, right? Where in a place of darkness in my life, that was the voice that was used to tell me I'm going to need you to get up. Right. And maybe there's somebody listening right now that needs to be told that. And I think your story is an awesome story, right? It doesn't matter where you are right now, listener. If you're in a place where you need to get up, let Omar's voice or my voice or somebody else's voice in your life be the one that says you need to get up. You can do it.
That's powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, brother. Something that comes to mind too is why do you think that people fight so hard for these identities that it doesn't even serve them anymore? You can clearly see that.
Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of answers to that, but I guess the I'm going to use an answer I would use for myself. Why did I fight so hard in my life to hold up an identity that I somehow knew inside was not me? And that's because I believe this part strongly. We always underestimate the cost of believing the lie we're living in. We always underestimate the cost of living the lie that we're in. And we overestimate the pain of changing to being who we're supposed to be. That's what I believe.
You're talking to me, brother. You're talking to me. Wow. I'm going through all that. I just recently the corporate job had dissolved and there was a series of, the thing comes up and I go, oh, this is the one. And I was back in it. And then something else came up. I went, oh, now it's, and it
Now it's here.
wasn't,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. And then it was the final one. And I was like, that's it. I'm not going back. No, this is
Yeah.
my calling. I know it. It's not like I think it is or, oh yeah, where's the money? It's telling me, don't worry about that. Where's the people? Don't worry about that. Where's the clients? Don't worry about that. Let me worry about that. Just
Here,
this,
yeah,
I want
listen.
you here.
Yeah, the money will come and the money will go. The
Mm,
clients will come and the clients will go.
mhm,
All of this stuff is true.
mhm,
But in my opinion, for me, what's most important in all of those events, don't lose yourself in the process.
mm,
Don't lose yourself. If you don't lose yourself, it's okay if the money comes and goes.
Mm,
It's okay if the clients come and go.
mm,
It's okay if the friendships come and go.
mm.
Don't lose
Right.
yourself.
That's not okay.
No.
That
Listen,
movie doesn't end well.
but that's what everybody's doing right now, or most
Mhm.
people are doing,
Right.
is
Yeah.
that they're like, "Oh my God, the job, the this, the that, the bill, the
Mm,
this, the that."
mm,
And
mm,
so they give up a little bit of themselves. They give up a little bit of themselves. This is the title of my book. I keep saying, "Wake up to die again every day."
mhm, mhm,
Ah,
mhm,
nobody will know. The
mhm,
cost isn't going to, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit.
mhm,
And then you wake up in the fiery middle, don't know how the hell you got there. You don't know who you are, and you gave
mhm,
away yourself. And that's why you feel like you're soulless, because you gave it all away a little bit at a time.
mhm. Right,
And
right.
now we got to fix that.
Yep, humans are like that. We just do little at a time. One big shot, no, that hurts too much, and we're not gonna accept that. But the little bit, yeah, we'll give it away. Yeah,
Hey, I tell people, I say, listen, do what the government does to us. They don't do everything at one time. They just take a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay. It's just 0.01%. No big deal.
yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's the
do
compound
that.
interest.
Yeah, it
Banks
is.
know about that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's also called incrementalism, a little bit at a time, right?
Mm, mm,
So practice
mm.
that people don't realize they're practicing incrementalism by giving a little bit of themselves away every day, and they say it's no big deal, and it is a big deal, and you need to stop.
It
Yeah.
is a big deal. Yeah, we must die daily.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that comes right back to the book. Tell us, let's hear it, man. Tell me about the book. Why did you write it? Because I've got these books inside of me too, which
Yeah.
I just started like putting some stuff down. I'm like, come on, Omar, come on, let's
Yeah.
go, bro. You're gonna go, somebody else gonna, okay.
That was funny. I've said all of those things. Yeah. So the reason I wrote the book goes back to something we've already talked about. Is I was going through my life and I was examining all the broken promises in my life. Right. One of the broken promises in my life was that I always promised myself I was going to do an Ironman race. And I never did it. And next thing you know, 20 years goes by. And so I decided I'm sick of the broken promises. And so I went and did an Ironman race. And it changed me as a human being, Omar. Changed me as a human being, brother. And then when I finished doing the Ironman race, I started mostly doing half Ironman races. Okay. And it was in that process of doing the half Ironman races where I said, okay, what is the next major broken promise that you have in your life? You didn't write that book you promised yourself about. Okay. And so the question I ask myself all the time, Omar, before I start a project is, Scott, I need you to answer a question before you start this project. Let's take the book as an example. Okay, it's a broken promise. Now you're saying you're going to write the book. So, Scott, I need you to answer a question. What are you willing to sacrifice? Well, time. I'm not going to watch as much TV. I'm going to write all the time. Yeah, I came up with all this garbage. And it wasn't, none of the answers kind of settled in my spirit of this is what I'm looking for. And so then one day the answer came to me, and the answer was, oh, I know what you're looking for. What I'm going to sacrifice is myself in the book. And what does that mean? Yeah, that means I'm not going to come out of the book as the hero anymore. That means I'm going to tell a bunch of stories, and they're all going to have wonderful, they're going to be wonderful stories about the human condition that are lived, right? And you're going to get to the end of the story and you're going to go, damn, I can see myself in everything Scott just said with my circumstances, my life path, not like Scott's, but I can see myself. And I love how Scott got through this, and he's not the hero, but he's a better human being. And I want to be a better human being. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I want to reconcile with that bad thing that happened to me. Right. And so the reason I wrote the book is because I promised myself for many, many years I was going to write a book. But what I learned when I realized I'd broken that promise so many times, what I had learned about the broken promise is that the book was actually ready for a long time, Omar, but I wasn't.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I was willing to tell myself that Scott, if you want to write a book, I don't even know if I told you this, but the book launched last Thursday.
Mm.
Okay. And today is Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the book is #1 new release in Christian leadership. #1 new release in Christian leadership. #2 bestseller in Christian leadership. Right? What are the readers reading? What they're reading is authenticity, transparency, vulnerability, the truth. And I'm not sugarcoating it, man. I'm just saying, here it is. And I'm also not telling people what to do in the book. I'm just telling them what I did.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. I'm sick of these books that say, here's the 7 steps to get to
Yeah.
heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's why I wrote it. It was to recalibrate from a broken promise.
Mm.
That was the first thing. The second reason I wrote it was because my wife lived through many of these tragedies in my life with me. And she only knows part of the story. And my kids only know part of the story. And so I wanted to write a long form story to tell them the whole story about Dad. Now, you don't know this reading the book, mate. You don't know it, but you don't know till you get to the end. And I'm kind of telling you a little bit about later in the book. But that was the second reason. And the third reason I wrote it is because I realized if I was willing to sacrifice myself, that there may be a one person or thousands of people that read this book and it helps them with their course correction in their life to get on the other side of themselves. Those are the 3 big reasons, man.
Incredible. You'll never know, probably never know how many people you've helped and changed. I mean, that happens to us all the time. Like I see somebody on YouTube, and they're teaching me yoga. Like, and now I'm sticking with her. She's teaching me, and now I'm doing her weekly thing, a 30 days straight. And like, she'll never know. Like, I might leave a comment or something like that, but never. But that's why we should do things, because we
That's
don't.
100%. But again, I'm not doing it for the applause. I'm not doing it for somebody to send me an email so I can go, oh, look at me. Look what I did. No, I'm not doing that.
Right.
That's not. I hope for that, but I'm not writing for that reason. So.
Right. That's what you mentioned earlier about, just doing things. Money comes, customers come, and money goes, and customers go, and people like you, they don't like you. Look, your book is doing phenomenal. Trust me, there's people out there that they go, I don't like this book.
Oh, 100%. No, 1,000%. Listen, I got to tell you this quick story. One of my beta readers, I had every type of beta reader you could imagine, every socioeconomic spectrum of beta reader. Okay. One lady works at the front desk at the gym that I go to. And I intentionally chose her because when I come around the corner in the morning and she's sitting at the front desk, when I come downstairs from working out, I can look and she's always got her Bible open, and you've never seen so much ink and coloring and highlights in a Bible in your life. Okay. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask her if she'll be one of my beta readers. And she reluctantly agreed. She gets 4 chapters into it. She said, I'm a slow reader, so don't expect anything. I said, whenever you get done. Literally like 4 weeks go by. I come in the gym one morning. I go to the gym really early in the morning, and she nervously gets up and says, Scott, I got to talk to you. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this. She said, this book's not for me. I said, okay, no worries. Now my heart was already broken. I'm like, man, here's a woman of God reading my book. Okay. And she's like, this ain't for me. And so it kind of broke my heart. And I said, do you mind if I ask why? I mean, what can you teach me? I mean, it's okay. That's why I'm having people read this. He said, it's the questions at the end of the chapter. I don't want to answer the question. I said, I don't care if you answer any of the questions.
Yeah.
I just want you to read the book.
Yeah, that happens often. I'm looking on Amazon. I love this book. It's a classic. Everybody loved it. And then I read some of the reviews. Some of the things people are saying, like, what? Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's how it goes. You're not gonna make everybody happy. Don't even try.
But in this case, you know what she told me 6 weeks? She said, as long as I don't have to answer the questions, I'll keep reading it. So now we get to 6-7 weeks later.
Yeah.
She's made it halfway through the book. And one morning she stopped me and she goes, I just want you to know I'm halfway through the book and the book's for me now.
Okay. All right. That's
Right?
good. We got
So you see, but again, I think she's an important part of the story of the book
mm-hmm.
because my book is going to ask you a lot of questions. And if you're not ready to talk about those questions, you ain't going to make it very far. Because chapter 1 starts out with, you're not where you're supposed to be. That's chapter 1. You may not make it out of chapter 1.
Right. 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 I know, because that's a tough one. I know. I've questioned myself, and I've even posed that to people too. And
So listeners, put your seatbelt on. Go get the book, but put your seatbelt on.
Okay, so tell us, where can people find this beautiful book?
Thank you, Omar. It's an easy one. It's Amazon.com. Wake Up to Die Again. Right.
Okay.
There's been a few people that have contacted me that wanted a signed copy with a special message written in it for a family member. So if they go to my website, which is scottlackey.com, you can order one there, and I'll write in the book whatever you would like for a family member or friend. There's been some people that have wanted to get this book into certain people's hands. So you can, get one of those special editions on my website, scottlackey.com, or like most people are doing is just go to amazon.com, type in Wake Up to Die Again. And there's a Kindle version, a paperback, and a hardback. And it would be a blessing if you get that for me. And I think it'll be a blessing for you if you read it.
That's beautiful. Let's get that audio going too, man. You got the audio book
coming up? Not yet. That's coming. Yeah.
Good. Because I do a lot of audiobooks. I just devour.
Yep.
Oh my God. But reading also, just recently read David and Goliath by forgot his name there, but it's a really good read. I'm reading it physically,
Yeah.
But I'm
No,
looking forward.
I actually have to read books. I get too distracted listening to audiobooks, and I'm like, where are we now? I got to rewind. And
Right. It's usually when I'm driving. That's when I hear them. I take the long way.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to getting my hands on your book, and I will read it. And
man, if you do, Omar, I promise you, we need to come back and have a podcast on the book. I'm not kidding you.
Yes. Let's do it. Okay. So stay right there. Don't move, brother, while I close up. For those listening, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. And until the next time, peace.